I just want to make sure I understand. You're alleging that the Southern Poverty Law Center was paying the leaders of KKK and other groups to continue their operations? Is that?
I'm not alleging.
All right, here we go again. Here we go again. The Democrats have been exposed again, except for this time, this one is even more outrageous than I could have even imagined. Now, we know that they've been funding these No Kings protests. We know that they've been funding these anti-ICE protests. That's a given. We even hear it from the people that are on the ground themselves protesting. They have no idea why they're there. They've been paid to be there. They're being bussed around the country. And since that USAID slush fund was decapitated by Doge and President Trump when Trump was coming into office, they haven't had the funds to be able to turn up like they really would like to. And for those of y'all that don't know what turn up means, that means to get crazy and get real active. The Democrats will love nothing more to have huge riots and rallies going all around the country at the same time, causing as much destruction as possible. But they couldn't do it, right? They couldn't afford it with their slush fund shut down, and they're not going into their pockets. And George Soros is already funding most of the bull crap that they're doing, as well as stuff around the world. So his ducats are running a little thin, especially since the Trump administration are all on top of his and his son's case. So what did the Democrats do? They created nonprofits. And they also have NGOs, which are non-government offices, right? So now with these nonprofits, it has been exposed, it has been discovered that the Democrat Party in the United States of America, through their nonprofits, have been collecting donations and sending that money to the Nazi organizations here, the white supremacist groups here, and the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan itself, which was started by the Democrats. So when you really think about it, it's kind of like the chickens coming home to roost. They're just now exposed on a public stage for the organization that they were tied to and have always been tied to, except for now, they even have black people that are so deranged within that party. Even they are racist against their own people. But here's the kicker now with the Democrats. At one point in time, they just hated black people. Now they hate black people and they hate white Christian men. They can't stand us. But guess what? What we gonna do? We're going to take that hate that they throw out and we're going to embrace it and use it as love. I got love for each and every one of you that are watching this right now, because in this video, I'm going to bring you into the debacle that is the Democrat Party, where they've been exposed for paying for all of the white racist and white supremacist things that was happening in the country. Come to find out, these clowns did it. As a matter of fact, I wanted to take you back down memory lane or something and answer me this. Do you remember this? Because after this clip, we gonna roll on, and when you see what's been happening and the indictment, you realize if you ever voted Democrat or know anybody who is a Democrat, you show them this. Because one thing, some people are just deranged and they think the Democrats have high moral ground. They can't run away from the fact that they've been paying and working with the KKK, the white nationals, and the white supremacist group and the Nazis, the American-based organization. But remember this clip? And we know we don't like Scamala. It's only 17 seconds. Remember this?
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember.
Now, despite the fact she decided to bring this bow lie up during the debate, where we all know the clip is out there, where President Trump said everybody in the crowd was not neo-Nazis and white nationalists. There was very fine people on both sides talking about the people. She knew that. She also knew, allegedly, and I'm not alleging what the nonprofit did, I'm talking about her knowledge. Allegedly, she knew that the Democrat Party was funding that in Charlottesville. The Democrats paid white nationals to do all of that protesting and all of that ruckus and to start those fights. It's the same thing like Antifa does, except for these people have started putting on MAGA hats and America shirts and going out there. How many other things have happened that they said was MAGA, and really it's a Democrat who is putting on MAGA gear, going out there to sow disruption and destruction so that MAGA and Trump gets blamed. Look at President Trump, all the flack he's caught over something he didn't even say. And the Democrats are so weak and they have such very few negative things that are truthful that they can say about the president. They make up lies. If he's such a terrible person, you wouldn't need the lies. Now, this says the DOJ says the Southern Poverty Law Center out of Alabama funneled $3+ million to white supremacists and extremist groups like the KKK. DOJ alleges the SPLC used shell accounts and prepaid cards to funnel funds to individuals tied to the KKK and other neo-Nazi groups, y'all. So real quick, I want you to listen to Attorney General Blanche as he gonna break down what's going on. Then after this, I've got this news report that really ties it all together. I want you to check it out. Watch this.
What about Charlottesville and the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally? Were they involved in that?
Yes. So what we allege in the indictment and what the grand jury found is that one of the individuals that they paid was one of the folks who helped organize that terrible event. And so so imagine what we're talking about, Laura. We're talking about an organization that actively came out and just screamed it from the top of their lungs.
So just so people understand watching this, did these informants in some cases, given the evidence you've seen, actually initiate what would ultimately be these activities? And obviously Charlottesville ended with a tragedy.
Well, we know that they were part of those. They were part of it. Whether they were the leaders or the initiators, that'll come out, I think, eventually. But what we do know is that the very entities that this group was raising money to go against are the very entities that they were taking the money in and paying to these entities and these individuals associated with those groups.
What was the money used for?
Well, we don't know, because again, all we know is that they set up these fictitious bank accounts.
Fake names, like the Constitution Group or whatever it was called. Then they had one called Fox Photography.
Right. They're completely fictitious as far as the investigation has shown, and they were using it simply to funnel money to these individuals. The indictment talks about a situation where they paid an individual to steal documents from the organization and then return the documents. And then when somebody else took the hit for it, they paid that person too to take the hit for that. And
wow. That's the Attorney General and the FBI have exposed. It's not alleged. It's not maybe. The Democrat Party funded the white supremacy that they got black people out here going crazy and blaming Trump about, and all Trump, because they showing that edited clip of the president saying, find people on both sides, and where he condemned the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
So you got black folks tripping out, and then people are donating money to this group thinking they're fighting that while they're actually funding that. Now, also, while we're talking about these frauds, if you're enjoying this video, hit that like button. And after you hit the like button, if you swipe it over to where you hit like, swipe, you can also hit what's called the hype button. They both help tremendously. If you're enjoying this video, I'll never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. But you hitting that like button, it helps a great deal. It lets YouTube know they should share this video with other people. And also with the engagement, leave a comment. Tell me what you feel after learning that the Democrats funded the Charlottesville and a number of other of these white nationalist Nazi protests that people blamed on the president. How does that make you feel? Share it in the comments. I really do appreciate you. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. Now, in this next clip, the news report, they do an excellent job of breaking it down. And this is John Stossel. John Stossel is awesome with Stossel TV. I'm going to let this clip play in full screen because this is going to give you what the lamestream media would never give you. And when I saw this video and I watched it, because it's got real life people who this group targeted. We talking about mothers, just because they're on the Republican side, and these folks are supposedly for peace and protecting the people. It was a sham. It was a scam. It was a fraud. And I'm so happy this 11-count indictment has been brought down on these people. And folks, like I told you, for everybody saying, when are the arrests coming? Remember something. People's memories are very short. So the closer we get to the midterm, you will see the pressure heating up, because if the Trump administration would have made arrests even right now or late last year, you and I both know the average person, it would have been gone out of their mind come November when it's time to vote. So don't be shocked when you see RICO charges and arrests come down literally a month before, the month of, 2 months prior. So just rest assured it's happening. But check this clip out. I'm gonna play it in full screen. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available, because this year, Medicare plans are expected to increase 10%. And that's $215 out of your Social Security check. And guess what? Some of your doctors may not be in network. Some of your prescriptions may no longer be covered. And that would suck for you to be going to visit your doctor to find out they're not in network, or for you to need a prescription to find out it's no longer covered. Why take the risk? With Chapter, you can reach out to Chapter, and a free phone call can last as short as only 20 minutes and speak to one of the highly skilled, unbiased professionals that will help you make sure you got the best Medicare plan available. If you've got the best, great. But if not, they can make sure you've got what you need. So use that number there on the screen, or visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics and let Chapter make sure you've got everything you need.
There are dangerous hate groups in America. Who will warn us about them? The media tell us.
The Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, based in that building in Alabama, calls itself the premier group monitoring hate groups and other extremists. Looking at their map of hate groups, you'd think hate groups were everywhere. I once believed what the center said. Well-meaning people still do. Apple gave them $1 million. But what donors don't know is that today the center smears good people.
The presence of radical Islam.
This Somalian woman speaks out against radical Islam. For that, the center put her on its list.
Join the fight against hate and bigotry.
Visit SPLcenter.org.
I do think that we have a problem with hate in this country.
We put about 10 of these major hate groups out of business.
When I first investigated the center, its leaders wouldn't talk to me. So liberal commentator Nomiki Kuntz defended them.
They have a long history of fighting against extremists like the KKK.
History, yes, but they labeled skeptical Muslims like Ayaan Hirsi Ali as haters.
If you have a horrible experience with religion, that's one thing. It's another thing to use those experiences as ammunition against others who are practicing their religion peacefully.
But they're just speaking, criticizing it.
Of course she has the right to free speech, as does the Southern Poverty Law Center has a right to push back.
We can stand together against hate.
The center also calls the Family Research Council a hate group.
The definition of a marriage is what it's been for 5,000 years. It's the union of a man and a woman.
I often disagree with the council myself, but do they belong on this hate map?
When they don't agree with you politically, they're going to list you as a hater.
You are haters. You hate gays.
No, I don't hate gay people, and I know gay people, and I have worked with gay people.
But once you become a hate group, you're a target.
Developing now, word of a shooting at the Family Research Council there in Washington.
One man was so enraged by what the Southern Poverty Law Center said about the Family Research Council, he went to their headquarters to kill people.
A man shot a security guard in the arm.
Fortunately, that guard stopped the man before he could shoot anyone else.
He told the judge that he was there to kill as many of us as possible because we were a hate group.
The center also smears the Ruth Institute, a Christian group that believes gays should not have an equal right to adopt children. They're not haters.
I like gay people. I have no problem with gay people. That's not the issue. The issue is, what are we doing with kids and the definition of who counts as a parent? There could be cases where the best person for a particular child would be their Uncle Harry and his boyfriend. That could be. But we owe it to the children to give them the best we can, which generally is married mother and father.
So you're a hater. When the Southern Poverty Law Center put the Ruth Institute on its hate map, the Institute's bank cut them off.
We've determined that you're an organization that promotes hate, violence, harassment, and so therefore we're not doing business with you.
The Ruth Institute and the Family Research Council are still on the hate list.
There's no appeal. I sure don't know how you get off.
I suspect the center keeps its hate list long because that brings in lots of money.
Morris Dees' salary is more than my entire annual budget. So yeah, whatever they're doing, it pays.
It sure does. Years ago, Harper's Magazine reported that the center was the richest civil rights group in America, one that spends most of its time and money trying to make more money. They promised to stop fundraising once their endowment reached $55 million. But when they reached $55 million, they changed that to $100 million, saying that would allow them to cease costly fundraising. But when they reached $100 million, they didn't stop. They collected $200 million, then $400 million. Now they've got $730 million. Yet they still smear people to raise more money.
Much of which is in offshore accounts, Caymans and places like that.
How do you know?
Oh, we look at their 990s.
And it says Cayman Islands?
Yeah.
Now the Southern Poverty Law Center calls groups that simply oppose sexually explicit content in schools anti-government extremists. Moms for Liberty and Moms for America are on the hate map because they dare do things like seek school board seats to try to stop districts from disregarding opinions of parents. Give me a break. The center puts them on the hate map, but not Antifa, the hate group that beats up people on the right. The center's become a hate group itself. It's now a left-wing, money-grabbing slander machine.
Wow. Did you see that? They had people so deranged that somebody went to the Family Research Center to take lives. All over lies being told by Democrats to people that are ignorant and don't do their own research and due diligence, that think they're going out there again, like I talked about, thinking they're on some type of moral high road. So in order to stop hate, you're going to go take people's lives because you're pissed off because you think that they're a hate group. So you hate them enough to go take their lives because they're a hate group. Do you see the insanity? These people literally have cognitive dissonance, meaning that they really have no exact clue of why they're doing what they're doing. They have no connection to what the reality is. They're just emotionally triggered by the words of these people that are psychologists, sociologists, scientists, educators. They know how to manipulate words, and that triggers certain emotional responses out of these people to go out and risk their lives and their livelihood on behalf of these demons. Now, real quick in this last clip, I just want to give you an example of what many people's money paid for. These are the so-called representatives of America. And you look at them, now, you know, the Democrats, they hate to see people with their faces covered. Oh, ISIS cowards. But look at these clowns marching. And these are the same people that were out there in Charlottesville that got this whole BS started during Trump's first term in 2017. So the Democrats have been working this angle for a while. Kind of makes you wonder, huh? All of these different quote unquote hate crimes that have happened around the country where people have come up unalive, especially young black men. And you say, how did anybody get that close to him where they can grab him up and hang him or do whatever? Could it be that they actually trusted that organization because they thought that they were with that organization and they were cool and they were down for the brown? But in reality, they were just a sacrificial lamb that they used to continue their agenda of division and creating this fake white supremacy. Now, don't get it twisted. Do I know that there are real prejudiced people? Because to be a racist, you have to be in a position to affect somebody's livelihood and their ability to earn. Most people aren't racist, they're prejudiced. Throwing that racist word around now is losing its impact when there are real racists out here. And guess where they are? In the Democrat Party. A senator, a president, a congressman or woman, a city council member, a mayor, a governor. They can affect your livelihood. They are racist. They hate white Christian men and they hate black people, especially a black person that doesn't fall in line with that Democrat plantation talking points and dares to be an independent thinker and say, this is bullcrap. I'm over here. Oh, my God. But look at this clip. Comical.
Patriot Front is here marching today in Denver, Colorado. We're here to draw attention to a number of drastic issues which are facing our people around the country and locally in the Denver metropolitan area. Most notably among them, the absolutely unrestricted and unmitigated invasion of our country by unassimilable foreigners who have no respect for our way of life and actively attempt to extort our country's resources.
First indication that this is not a Republican, not a MAGA. Did you hear the name that he called them? What was the phrase that he used? Oh, no, I got to take it back just to see that he used the phrase for
our way of life and actively attempt to extort our country's resources. Dedicated invasion of our country by unassimilable foreigners.
Unassimilable foreigners. Now, you know that that's a deranged leftist trying to act like he's some patriot. No, because we call them what they are, illegals. And the fact that he was unwilling to say that is an indicator. I'm not going to even burden you with the rest of this clip. I just wanted to bring you the proof that keeps coming out. And when folks say, well, nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to happen. Dang it. Trump has been in office for a year and some months. The man is working, trying to put America first as far as on the global oils, becoming a global oil superpower in Iran. Look at the pushback. We got Maduro, liberated those people, liberated the people in Iran, still trying to get that right. Stopped 8 different wars, got the economy under control, secured the border. You know, people say, well, why haven't they made arrests? But if he'd have came in making arrests, you know, said Trump doesn't care about the country, doesn't care about you. He only wanted revenge. So we expect the deranged leftists to act like that. We can't afford people on our side, quote unquote people on our side, because I know people that do not support Republicans or MAGA or Trump come and watch my videos and they leave comments. And let me tell you the way that you can sniff out somebody that's a fake Republican or a fake independent, they're really a Democrat. They say, you know, I'm not a part of any party. I'm not a part of any party, but Trump is doing this, that, and Trump this, and Trump that. They won't mention Eric Swalwell. They won't mention the Democrats' historically low approval rating. They won't mention Mamdani debacle. They won't mention Gavin Newsom. They're an independent, though. They don't belong to any party, but all they do is Trump, 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 MAGA, 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 MAGA. But they're an independent though. You know why that is? Because independent is the code word for Democrats that are too embarrassed to claim it in public. It's not cool to be a Democrat right now. It's cool to be MAGA right now. The lamestream media wants people to believe, oh, my wife saw something today and it said, there's a leaving MAGA movement. Oh my God. I've been hearing about that for so long. And guess what's happening? MAGA has actually gotten bigger, increased by 2 percentage points. So if you see something like that online, acting like, oh, there's a leave MAGA, watch the video and ask yourself, how would a Democrat who never watches Trump, who never listens to anything MAGA has to say, hates MAGA, don't know anything about, but they're going to tell you about the leaving MAGA movement. You know why? Because you have these fake deranged leftists who want attention, who have never been MAGA, but post a video saying, you know, I was a Republican, I supported Trump, and now I'm leaving. Because they know that video will get views and people will be in the comments like, oh, you're such a winner. But look at that individual. And listen, I know I ain't the prettiest thing walking on the block, and I got some pounds that I could lose. But look at these people, male and female, and you'll see they look like people that are lonely, that live in a basement, don't have a friend in the world, and they're willing to do whatever it is they can do to get a little bit of attention. But you go to their social media page, and all you see is Trump derangement, Trump derangement, Trump derangement, Trump derangement. But they were MAGA. The two spectrums are too far apart. It just don't happen. Now, you can say, hey, listen, I'm a Republican. I don't agree with what Trump is doing, but you for dang sure ain't jumping on that bandwagon unless you've been paid. So I just wanted to bring you this story. And hey, if you stuck around and you watched this thing, how do you feel about it? Because I appreciate you standing and watching. And I thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. But this is despicable. And arrests have been made. So for those out there, the arrest was made in this one. So for those that do whine and cry and bitch and moan, when arrests are made, have that same energy and give props for that in the comments the same way you're willing to spread into that negative crap that you want to say. If you know you think nothing's going to happen, what's going to happen? When it does happen, acknowledge it. And if you're unwilling to do that, you're nothing but a fake Republican, fake MAGA yourself. And yeah, I'm saying that because a real person of character, if they can talk crap when things ain't going right, they can give credit when it is. So thank you all again for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And most importantly, y'all, make sure that you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.